Hello, everybody. All right, I'm going to cross my fingers that I'm not crossing them yet. I'm going to cross my fingers that my microphone is working. It looks like it should be. So we're hoping. If anyone is out there, let me know if you can hear me. I can always switch my mic too if need be. I hope everybody is having a fantastic Tuesday. Oh my goodness. And I am so sorry on the delayed start today. Um, we'll talk personal for a second before we get into crafting. If you did not know already, I do have a day job aside from crafting. And, ooh, yep, we've got, someone can hear me. Yay! Hello, Kristen. We've got card making. Hello, hello. So glad you guys can hear me. Color outside the lines and Alexa. Oh, I'm going to say it real quietly so I don't have a device behind me kicking to hear me. So maybe I'll just say Alex, just for the sake of not having someone electronic drop into our conversation. But hello, hello. Thank you. And Amy, hello, Amy. Thank you everyone for being here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Tuesday. So back to my story. Day job that I have, I work in heating and air conditioning. I live right outside of Chicago in the suburbs, and it has been hot, hot, hot since kind of amped up on Sunday, and it's just been Monday and today have been really hot. So had to stay at work just a little bit extra today. But hey, no big deal. So I'm just excited to be here with everybody today, and we're gonna have some crafting fun. So usually a little behind the scenes information before I go live, I usually have a chat with Audra, and I'm like, hey, like any thoughts about anything that you'd like me to talk about on like the on a live stream, any sort of product, anything like that. And she had said that the blood splatter stencil is back available on the website. And I'm like, you know what? I will always take an opportunity to make something spooky with y'all. So we are going to have some fun with that today, but we're going to make a little bit of a scene card. I am going to kind of test out a new technique. I've kind of done something similar before, but it's with a die cut. This time I'm going to do it myself. We're going to see how it works. I think it's a fun technique to pass on to y'all if it works out the right way. But y'all know every time we do a Facebook Live, this isn't a Facebook Live anymore, this is a live stream. Y'all know anytime that we're live, we figure it out and we make something cool. So let's get into it. Now, I do have the supplies listed for today available for you to check out. Let me see. Am I able to add this to the broadcast? What's this going to look like? Ah, there you go. Yay. Okay, I figured it out. So as you can see, I do have the supply list ready to go for you. It is pinned in the chat. So if you are looking to purchase any of the products that I used in today's live, I do have everything linked for you. So let's take that out. Yay, I can add people's comments. Now I know how to do that. Oh, it's so fun. It's been a journey with this live stream stuff, let me tell you. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to my overhead, and we are going to get into some crafting. So let's see. I feel like, are we good? Let's see. I'm going to just test this camera out real soon, quickly, because I feel like it's not super, um, it needs to be like a little bit more. Let's see, let's move this and get this all situated in the center as best as we can. That looks pretty good. All right, so we are there. Just wanted to kind of move my camera a little bit. So we are going to play around today. We're going to do a little bit of coloring first with the horror stamp set, which is, God, this stamp set goes back before Ivan was a full-time design team member. So this is probably from 2018, if not earlier. It's crazy to talk about stamp sets that are like over a couple years old, but this is an oldie but a goodie. This is probably about at least 8 years old or so now. And we're going to be using this Dabby villain or the masked stabber, whatever you want to call him, to create today's card. And we are going to start with a little bit of coloring up. Now, what we're going to start with is I am going to be making a window scene card of us looking like at this guy looking out of a window onto like a street. And so I do have this frame, and I kind of want to make sure that I'm not over coloring this image. Excuse me. And so I just kind of got to figure out, we're probably going to color up everything but his shoes. So just bear with me on that. If the shoes are white, we're totally okay with it. And it's going to be a fun card. So now let's put a piece of paper behind our cardstock. And I like to do this just because it helps the ink. It doesn't like, when you're coloring with an alcohol marker ink on top of a glass mat, there's nothing that absorbs any of the excess ink. So if I have that ink seep through, it's going to like push around on my glass mat and it's going to give my coloring a weird effect. By having a piece of cardstock in between, it really helps catch it. So we're going to use that to our advantage. Now let's go ahead. We're going to start by coloring up his mask. And I am going to start by using some T7. And we're going to use this inside of the eye holes of the mask. I'm just going to add a little bit. Now his face is going to color up kind of nice and quick. I always kind of think about how long coloring is going to take when we're doing a live stream. And I was really happy because I knew this one wouldn't take us too long because he doesn't have that traditional skin tone going on. Most of his exposed skin area is like a white mask. So we're just going to kind of play around with that. So I'm going to go in for this T5. We're going to add it along his hairline, just around the mask, just like this. I don't know. I was thinking, I love this movie, or franchise rather, at this point, we'll say it. And I've kind of been itching to rewatch some of them recently. So we're going to do that. I'm going to, no, his ears are white. His ears are part of the mask, but his hands are exposed skin. So I'm just trying to keep that all in mind as I'm coloring. So we've got our T5. Let's move on to some T3 next. And if anybody has questions along the way, just let me know. So we're going to go in with that T3. I do want to take a moment to once again thank everyone who's tuning in tonight. I know I had to push back tonight's live stream an hour, and I don't do that often. If you have crafted along with me during a live, you know very rarely am I making changes to my live stream time schedule the day of. And summer's a little bit iffy. I don't ever want to fully give up my streaming because I love doing this with you guys, but it does get a little tricky, especially on work days, and my weekends kind of get preoccupied elsewise. So I do apologize about that change up, and I appreciate everybody's jumping on today and crafting along with me or just being here in the chat. Y'all are wonderful. You know, I love my Kindred family. So, all right, so I'm going in with this T3, just like that. I'm looking now, and he's kind of got this under part. I think we're gonna make that like part of his, oh, that's gonna be his neck. Oh, okay. So we're gonna kind of just color it like that. And we'll do a little bit like that. Hello, Christian. Thanks for popping in. And thank you, Amy. It does happen. I hate when it happens because I know it's not like the most convenient thing in the world, but I was trying to look at this as a silver lining because usually I know that when I do live streams, I do them always kind of around 6 o'clock p.m. my home time, which is 4 p.m. for our West Coast friends. And I know 4 p.m. for a lot of us is not like a convenient, let's sit and watch television time or like a YouTube video. If we have jobs, a lot of us aren't even home yet. Or even beyond that, if we are home, we might even be cooking for our families or for ourselves. So I was like, you know what? Maybe this is going to give me an opportunity to meet with some people that I haven't seen on a live ever or in a while. So, hey, just trying to look at the positives, you know? Also, too, I wanted to say I feel bad. I know because I'm trying to avoid saying a certain device's name. Names are very important to me. And if it wasn't a live stream, Alex with the A, I would say your name fully without knowing there would be no interruption. So please, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. If you comment and I don't say your full name, chances are is I'm probably going to forget at some point. So if I see you comment again, it's very possible I'm just going to say your name and deal with the technological consequences that come thereafter. All right, let's just kind of go in, kind of darken this up just a little bit. You know what, Amy, depending on what part of Indiana that you're in, you might be in the same time zone. I'm considered part of Central Time Zone, and I know part of Indiana is as well, but I know it's not all of it. We've got some business friends that live in Highland, Indiana, and I know made a comment once when I went out there. I'm like, well, you guys are in a different time zone. They're like, we're right over like the state border. We are not in a different time zone. So I know it's just some areas of the state. So we're gonna go in now, because I was coloring in with a gray, we're gonna kind of blend this out using some colorless blender. And I'm gonna kind of use the whites of the paper as sort of a way to like blend the colored of the T markers of the toner grays into the white. So I'm just kind of going in and doing that. And thank you so much for your understanding. You know what? You should get some royalties. I stand behind that. Definitely. Definitely, definitely. All right, so we're just going in. So nice to see so many friends and so many faces. I know a lot of us communicate and socialize in the fan club. I know, gosh. And of course, now I've got Christian on the design team with me, as she's been for a while. Christian always pops into my lives. I'm always so appreciative with her for that. And a lot of you have too as well. So if I haven't called you out already, please, I'll get there, I promise. But it's always just nice to hang out with each other and get a little bit of crafting time in. All right, so I'm just going to kind of color this up. And that's pretty good. I'm very happy with how that's turning out. I think that looks very mask oriented. Now his mask, it does kind of have a little bit of a grunginess to him, which is why I'm okay going in with like a darker gray color. Now let's go in and let's work with some of his hair. His hair is kind of an interesting, like dirty ginger color. It's kind of gross in my, well, when I'm saying it's gross, I don't mean it's the color, but it's like he's wearing a mask, so it's like that very wiry artificial hair look. And like, I don't think he probably cleans his mask, is my guess. So it just always kind of looks grody and gross. That's what I mean by that. And then you're right by Highland. Okay, so absolutely, Amy, so you're probably definitely in our time zone. All right, so we're gonna go with some E37, and I'm just gonna kind of, I call them tick marks. And I've heard people before like, don't call them tick marks. I'm like, listen, you call them whatever you want, whatever makes the most sense to you, what you can remember them by, have at it. It's your image, you color and refer to it the way that you want. And so I just kind of make small little strokes or tick marks like that. And I'm kind of doing it like his hair would be pulled back. So all the hair is kind of going in like a slicked back sort of motion. And I am adding it to the under part of his, I'm calling it a wig, but it's not really a wig. It's part of his mask. So we're just going to kind of go in and keep going. So, oh my gosh, y'all. I don't know about you, and this is not meant to be like a point of contention because we all have our seasonal preferences. Summer is a very long season for me. It's usually the season I enjoy the least. Me and my husband call ourselves indoor recess types of kids. So like we're not itching to like go outside and garden and whatnot. Like don't get me wrong, we'll take advantage of like if the weather's great, going out to a nice dinner and like enjoying a patio. But that's like when it's in like the 70s and like bugs aren't bad and there might be like a little bit of a breeze. Like that's the sort of weather that I want to be outside for, not in like 85, 90-degree humidity. Like don't sign me up for that, please. All right, so we're going to move it next. We're going to go with some E35. So we went from E37 to E35. Now, another thing is I did include today's, this is going to get goopy on me, so we need to take both ends off. I did include the marker combinations that I'm using in the description. They're towards the bottom, so be sure to go check them out. I never really link my marker combinations in terms of like to a product. I just type them out. In all honesty, it's a lot of work, and I feel like I don't know how helpful that would necessarily be to provide links to each individual marker. So I don't, but you never know what might happen in the future. You love fall. Amy, I'm a fall baby too. Like I am, it's fall all the time is my preference. I can't get enough fall. It's the best time of year to me. Something about like being able to be comfortably outside in that crisp, cool fall weather while also enjoying like wearing jeans and wearing a like sweater or a hoodie. It's perfect. Like I want the weather, like summer you can have a bonfire, but you can't have a bonfire where you're gonna sit out by the fire and wear like a hooded sweater. You're probably still going to be in shorts or something, but like I want that good fall weather. All right, this is YR24, and I'm just kind of going in, getting that all situated. Because there's definitely like a goldenness to his hair, and I'm trying to do my best to capture that. All right, and the last color we're going to use for his hair is YR21. Perfect. I'm really surprised. I try my best with stamp sets when I do during a live to kind of recall the time period of when they came out. And I've kind of got benchmarks in my mind. And a lot of times, like if I don't know a firm date, if they're older, it's because it was before I was on the design team. And I'm like, okay, like I know I was never assigned this set to work with, nor did I like work with people that were also doing this set. And I'm just like trying to remember. It's got to be a 2018 set. That's my guess. Best as possible. That's my guess. All right, so we're gonna go in YR24, and we're just gonna kind of keep bringing those colors out. Now I'm switching gears, and I'm going back from light to dark. Normally, you guys are going to get so sick of hearing about this from me, but I always like to bring it up. You never know what new viewers might be tuning in for the first time or even catching our replay. I like to generally color when I'm blending from dark to light, and I do it twice. I call it coloring twice, but I have exceptions to the rule. One of the exceptions is, actually, two of the exceptions are things that I've done already, and that is when I'm coloring whites and when I'm coloring hair. When I color hair, I go from dark to light the first time, but on the second pass, I actually go in reverse and I go from light to dark. And the reason for that is that I really want to capture the texture of the hair. And I find that when I go from light to dark, I don't get as much of a blend going on, so I can keep that texture. And I think it's a technique that really has worked nicely for me. Now I got to remember, I got to take both ends of this marker off. But we all have to each their own preference, you know? This is just one that worked nicely for me. Something different may work for you, but hey, I always think if I can help at least one person, that's great. That's what I'm here for, right? Ooh, I feel a sneeze coming on. Ooh. Oh. And usually with me, when I sneeze, it's usually sneezes come in like threes. All right, so I'm adding that texture in. Perfect. If anybody has any questions, just let me know. It is what I am here for. All right, we're going to do some E37. Kind of hoping we get all this coloring wrapped up in like the next 10 minutes to work on our scene card. Spoiler alert, love crafting with y'all. So excited to be here. Also need to eat dinner at some point tonight, and I'm like thinking towards like, what am I going to do? So that'll be fun. All right. Now, he doesn't have too much hair going on, so I'm just going to kind of call it with that. I don't want these colors to begin to look too muddled, but we're going to move on and move to his jumper suit. And his jumper suit is kind of like, it's a mechanic suit. It's not denim, but it's like the color of like a darker denim. So we're going to play around with some darker blues, and we're going to start with B99. And so I'm going to just go in and add wherever this may have a little bit of shadow, just like that. I will be at the Schaumburg Playdate, Amy. I'm very excited for that. I'm also going to be at the Schaumburg Expo for sure on Saturday. I may pop in on Friday, but honestly, like I said, being with my line of work being HVAC and with it being in the summer, normally I don't ever pop in on Fridays unless I'm able to get out of work early and drive up, but the show usually closes for the day pretty close close to the end of the workday. But you never know. But definitely I will be there. I've already been talking to Audra. We're already making plans. I will be there for sure at the expo on Saturday, and then I will be at the Playdate all day that Sunday. So I'm very excited to see friends there. Just gonna add a little bit of texture. So yay, yay, yay. Audra and I are trying to figure out if I'll do a make and take at the expo. We'll see. We're still got little inner workings to figure out. All good things. All right, so I'm gonna kind of go in, do this. Speak of the devil, Audra just messaged. She is currently, I've been messaging her about some release items for next month. So got that all taken care of. Actually, she messaged me today that my release package should be sent out like very soon. So that's very, very important. Yes, Amy, I'm glad to see that you'll be there. You were at the last one in Naperville at that hotel. It was like, I think technically you're right. It was Naperville, but it was also in like an area like on a borderline of Warrenville. So do you know if there's still some spots? I'm still trying to make arrangements because of life. To my knowledge, Christian, I believe there is still availability. Usually Audra tells me when the stuff sells out, and we have not had that conversation. So I believe there is still openings. It is limited capacity. And I know usually what happens is like closer to the event date, that's usually when we see things start to fill up because other people are in similar situations. They've been able to kind of finalize their schedule and figure that out. But I do believe there's still spots. I hope it works out that you can also come, Christian. I would love to be able to see you again. I remember when I saw you at the Schaumburg like crop retreat that we did. I think that was back in 2023, maybe. I don't remember entirely, but I just remember it. I don't remember the year entirely, but I remember it being a great weekend. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I need to talk Audra back into doing a Chicago retreat. We have so many wonderful customers in the Chicagoland area or kind of the immediate area around Chicago if you're not in Illinois. I don't know. You never know. We found that the Chicago area is kind of like one of the Kindred hotspots. I know Audra's thinking about some other upcoming events. I don't have any firm details on anything. Of course, you know me, I can't share anything unless it's been announced, but I don't really even have anything at this point to like firmly announce. Um, it would be amazing, Christian. I would love to see you there. I mean, I would love to see, and I'm glad I'm seeing Amy there. Who else? I know Lauren, and it's either Lacomic or Lahomic. I know I'm pronouncing one of those two last names about correct. I believe she is going to be there. I'm really excited. My crafty friend Melanie is going to be there. She was at, my goodness, this goes back quite a bit, but Audra, a handful of years ago, did I think this was like December or January. Maybe I got the months wrong, but she did another like crop day play date in the Des Plaines area in Illinois near O'Hare Airport. I know my friend Melanie was there for that. But that might have been her last event, so I'm excited to see her come. We're gonna have a fun time. It is definitely a central hub, that's for sure, Christian. And I love it because I live in it. So love it, love it. All right, so B99. Just kind of go in and keep adding in those colors. Now, originally I wasn't going to color up a lot of his pants. I was going to kind of leave the pants area open because we are going to cover a chunk of it up, but realistically, I'm not going to cover too much up or waste too much coloring by going over it. Now, I'm not coloring up his shoes. And what I would recommend for his shoes, I think he's got like brown leathery boots of sorts that he wears, or even black boots. And I think that you could get away with either like a good brown leathery blend or even using like neutral gray markers. If you wanted to give him like black boots, I think that works too. All right, let's see what's next. Back to that B95. All right. So keep on going in. Now also too, just to take a moment to of course promote our release, because it was an incredible release that we just did last week. I'm always so excited with what the design team puts out. And we have 4 brand new design team members. We've got Ashley and we've got Melissa, Amy, and Joy. And I was so excited to see what the 4 of them did with the release. And I'm actually really excited to see what they do with the next release too, because there was some big excitement going on with some of the sets that I saw people get assigned to. So that was exciting. But Amy had a question. Amy says, what paper do you use when coloring images? So usually I use the Copic Express It paper, but recently that has been out of inventory basically everywhere. There's a shortage on it. So I have transitioned for the time being of using Olo paper. I do have it linked in the comments. It's kind of a similar-ish material. I enjoy using it. Haven't really noticed any huge quality differences in terms of that compared to the Express It paper. But if I do notice anything along the way that I switch, I'll always let you guys know. But I do have in the comments, I've got the paper that I use listed. I also use the alcohol marker safe ink that I use. That's linked down below as well. So be sure to check those out if you're not 100% happy with the black alcohol marker safe ink that you use. I've got like 3 pillars of what a good alcohol marker ink must have for me. That is, I don't want it to stain my stamps. I want it to dry quick, and I want a crisp impression. And the ink that I linked down below, the Blackout ink, is the best that I have tried. I have tried probably at least 7, 8 different types of alcohol marker inks. And I'm always open to trying more because you never know what the best might be. It might be yet to come or yet to just be discovered. So I keep trying, but I do like my Blackout ink right now the most. So I'll always kind of promote that whenever possible. Ooh, this one sounds like this might need a refill sometime soon. All right. Just like that. All right. We're also going to do a little bit of coloring. We've got his hands and we've got his little knife with blood. So let's kind of work on those. Ooh, you know what? I have a little fine bullet nib on the end that I'm going to use. I don't use it often, but it's going to be perfect for this image. So we're going to go with some E11. I'm kind of doing a shortcut. I'm cutting one of the colors out for his hands just because I don't think I need to be super light on colors. They're really tiny little hands. So I got that all situated. Now, going back to the release, everyone made so many fantastic projects, and what I really loved was all of the neon inspiration. Aside from, of course, we've got our true crime inspiration as well. We've also got, oh my gosh, Randy, Lauren, and Tori did all of those amazing popsicle cards that were just so super sweet. I loved what each and every one of them did. I love that Lauren did like popsicle cards. Like she actually took the shape and made them into cards, and they were so cute. She actually put out a video on her channel, so make sure to check out Lauren's video because it really is a fantastic demonstration on how to use those dies and assemble them. And I don't know if there's another video for assembly, but if I'm missing something, I will let you know. But they all made really, really sweet cards. Loved the True Crime collection. And of course, we had the Catitude set, the Painter Panda set. And then I had the opportunity, I kind of didn't really tell, I didn't really have an opportunity to tell anyone what was going on, but me and Audra were working on a kit class behind the scenes, and I'm really excited that we did that spot on kit because it's a really, really fun stamp set. But what I really love is that stencil because it is a layered stencil, and I use it with some glitter paste. So you guys definitely are going to want to check that out. And that those products don't have any plans of being available individually. So if you like them, I would definitely snag them. And then you do get my tutorial as well with that. So I'm sorry, just got to wipe my nose just for a brief moment. All right, actually I should get it. Oh, you know what? I should use a paper towel. Anyways, all right, so I've got my little knife getting colored. Going with some C3. Ooh, this one looks interesting. You know what? We're just going to color C3, and then I'm just going to go in with one color. Let's do some R4. Just to kind of give it a little bit of a bloodiness, just like that. And you know what? I think that is pretty perfect. So I'm going to put all my markers away and do a little bit of fussy cutting with y'all. And Amy, you are so welcome. So, so welcome. All right, let's get to some fussy cutting. I think I'm going to try my best to fussy cut this on the line. And I am going to have to get up and get a fine tip black marker for one of my tips. So what we're going to do is just very carefully fussy cut this out along the lines. Now, it's not available anymore, but once upon a time, this stamp set did have a coordinating die set to cut out the images, which I do have, but it's not available anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fussy cut it, and that's fine. It's not a very complicated image. I'm going to try to find a way to cut this inner circle out in here. Just really carefully. This is usually when I get quiet because I don't want to get distracted, because I'm very much like shiny things. And so I just try to make sure to go around accordingly, and then around his hand. All right. Perfect. And then I'm going to take a marker to kind of clean up the edges, because it might look like there's a little bit of white, but I have a technique to sort of clean this up, and it'll be good as new. Just like that. Go around his body. I think for his shoes, if you're looking for color recommendations, I would try like neutral gray 7, 5, and 3. I think would be a good start. If you wanted a little bit more shading, you could also incorporate neutral gray 1. If you were going to go brown, I would say maybe do like E57, 5, and 5, 3. I think that would give you a good sort of leathery look. I know that there is a color that says leather. I forget which color it is. Part of me thinks it's in the E1s, and I don't think that the E1s really give too much of a leather vibe, but hey, to each their own. If you want to give them red shoes, if you want to give them purple shoes, go for it. Whatever floats your boat. It is your image. Color it the way that you want. Now, another nice thing about coloring or cutting these images, fussy cutting along the lines, is that you can kind of not have to worry about if you colored outside the lines anywhere, because you're trimming that part of the image off. So that's also really nice to do with this. It does take a little bit of extra time. I like to do this when I want my image to blend in with the scene more. I feel with the white border, it pops, which is great. But sometimes when you want it to be a part of a scene, you want that scene to have a natural sort of look to it. And so I was like, you know what? Today we're going to go for that natural look. That was my process. All right. Going in, trying to get his hair texture all taken care of. All right. I'm going to go around the head, just like this. Perfect. Just like that. Just like that. Awesome. Okay, so really quickly what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab one of my Copic multi-liners, and I didn't put this in the product description, but I just kind of want to show you what I do with it. Let's grab my short brush. That'll work. And it's just this black brush marker, and I like to just kind of take it along the edge from the back side, just kind of color it across. And what this does is I let it go over any of the white edges of the cardstock. And it sort of makes a black line, and it sort of masks any sort of not perfect cutting that I did when fussy cutting. So it just kind of reinforces the black lines of the image. And it's easier to go from the backside because you may find that like you misjudge space and you accidentally color directly on the image. You're not going to be able to color on the front of it if you do it from the back. Like as you can see, I've got little marks from my marker. You're not going to see that at all. But if you did it on the front side, you could like ruin your image. So we are not wanting to do that. That's why we color from the back. All right, so just kind of color it like that. And then I need to do a little bit right here. And a little bit like that. Perfect. Oh, Gwen. Hello, Gwen. Thank you for being here. You're so sweet. I don't consider myself the best fussy cutter. I think I'm just very critical. But I like to talk while I'm doing it, and I know that helps. All right, so we've got our little stabby guy. Now let's talk about making our scene. So I'm going to take this and put it away. Now the first thing that we're going to do is I want to kind of create like the siding of a house. And I've got this cardstock in my stash that I only bring out on what I like to call special occasions because I really love it. I just don't use it often enough. And it's this really fun wood grain cardstock. And it's really fun. I've got it linked in the description below, and it really helps kind of reinforce scenes that have that wooded feel to it. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to take this down, and we are going to kind of blend siding onto this card. And I've got to kind of think about, how do I want this to look? Because I don't know how many lines I want to do of siding. Do I want to do every? I think I'm going to do every 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to see how this works, Justin. This is a new to Justin technique. I have done this once before, but it was the die kind of pre-cut everything for me. It was a cover plate die, and I was able to blend the individual slats. I'm making my own slats. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to take a piece of 1-inch mint tape, and from the bottom of my card, we are going to, I've got it lined up, we're going to do 3/4 of an inch. If you see the top of my head, my apologies. We're going to go just like that. I'm trying my best to keep it lined up. I'm using the grid on my glass mat to help keep me in check. And then we're going to take some Weeping Willow Stellar ink. I'm going to try this ink first, see if it works. And I'm going to go in. Ooh, I just got ink on my fingers. So let's put this to the side. And I'm just going to kind of blend next to this line. And I want to kind of give a nice smooth blend where I want to kind of darken just a little bit. So I'm just going in. This is a mini blending brush. Just like that. I want to kind of blend natural wood slats that it's going to look like siding. I don't know how I came up with this idea. Well, I told you kind of how I came up with it. I did this once before. I'm like, let's do this without dies. Now, the other thing that you could do is that you could cut these into strips and layer them and like blend them and then paste everything back together. But I have kind of made a card like this before, but a little bit different. So just kind of blending in. This is going to take me a little bit of time, and hey, that's okay. At this point, why not? Now I'm going to go in. I think I'm going to do a little bit of Black Widow ink as well, just to kind of add a little bit of depth. But also my Black Widow ink is like crazy juicy. I don't want to add too much of it. So I'm just kind of going in. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove this tape. And as you can see, we've kind of got our first sort of natural wood slat layer. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. We're going to go up evenly, kind of put this back down, and then we're going to repeat the process. So now I may not even need to take out this ink pad anymore with all that excess. You never know. We're going to take our Weeping Willow and then blend. You know, and the other thing too is I almost should have done the colors separately because I'm getting residual Black Widow now that's going on to my cardstock, but that's going to be okay. We're going to make it work. Things you learn along the way. I love using our own masks for things, but that's why it's so nice sometimes to use like pre-made stencils or die cuts, because it takes the like operator error portion out of it. Sometimes I feel like when we try to do things on our own without like a product to use with it, we have to like really think about it a lot more and think about the mechanics of what we're doing. But that's okay. That's okay, because you know what? That does save us money. And you know, we like, as crafters, we like to save our money because that means we can buy more things with it for our stash. So, all right, so we're going in just like that. And then I'm going to go in with my Black Widow and just sort of bring that out very lightly, just like that. Awesome. All right, so then we're going to take this, remove it, and then go 1, 2, let's do 3. Trying to do my best to keep this nice and level. Now, if I have to replace my tape at some point, I will. So we're going to go in. 1, 2, yep, okay. Just trying to make sure I counted correctly. One wrong slat placement and all chaos will ensue, you know. Says me at least. So I'm just going in, blending this out. Just like that. This is actually turning out really pretty. I think this is a great technique. Takes a little bit of time, but I'm enjoying just kind of the therapeutic process of ink blending. And the way that I'm looking is like, I want it to look like, I mean, I don't know how to do it. Maybe I'll show you like the slats, like where they kind of go like this and then they layer on top of each other. That's kind of what I'm going for. And then of course I want to play with the natural brown of the wood. That's why I'm using that Weeping Willow ink, but that black soot just kind of reinforces that shadow. Now, another key that you're going to want to make sure you're doing is that you're not blending too big of circles, because that's how you're going to go like outside of the lines. And we don't really want that. Ideally, you want to keep it within the lines as best as possible. All right, so then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, just like that. I think, is that? There we go. Perfect. Okay. All that, and then we're going to go in back with our Weeping Willow. See, and this is just part of the process. I always feel bad with this part of the live because it's like I'm doing the same thing over and over. But you know what? Sometimes it's nice if anyone's crafting along that they can catch up. Or you know what? Someone seeing this on replay can see just how long some of these details can take. And that's part of crafting, you know, is like recognizing techniques that might be not necessarily within like your time allotment of what you're working with. And that's okay, because the last thing we want to do is spend our time trying to do a technique and then realizing we don't have enough time to fully complete it. And then realize, well, if we would have done something different from the start, then maybe this wouldn't have been as bad. It's never bad, but I do know what it's like to kind of rush to get a project done. All right, just kind of keep going. If anyone has any questions, just let me know. That's what I'm here for. All right, and then we're gonna go in. I'm still using this residual Black Widow ink. Just gonna go in and add that shadow, just like that. Perfect. Could make a red doghouse like this. You totally could, Amy. That would be really cute. All right. And also too, all you really need is some sort of a masked edge to use. I know I'm using tape, but you really could use, if you had like an extra piece of cardstock, you could do it with that. What else could you do? You could do, if you had like a extra Mylar stencil that just had a straight edge, that could work. All right, let's go in. We're getting towards the top. There shouldn't be more than 3 more lines to do, I don't think. I've really kind of been leaning into these Simon Hurley Stellar inks a lot recently. I've been using a lot of that and also a lot of my Catherine Pooler inks. Just because I really like the vibrancy of them. Edge of a stencil, absolutely. I kind of wish, and maybe I need to look for one. I wish I had like a 6x6, because the stencil material is called Mylar, and that's that plastic sort of material. I kind of wish I had like a 6x6 Mylar stencil that had no stencil popped out. It was just like a Mylar square, because I feel like I could use that for masking. I have another product from a different company that it's smaller pieces, like to help with masking, and that's great. I would like one that's like bigger though. I don't know, just my thought. Then we're gonna go in, still using all of this Black Widow, my goodness. But you know what? I'm really glad with this that I've been able to only use one piece of tape so far, because I feel like with something like this, I'm going to use a magnet right now to hold this down. I feel like it could be really easy to like want to use a bunch of pieces of tape. So using only one has been a nice change. All right, so we're going to go in. Let's see. So I'm going to do, is this right? Looks right to me. Okay, perfect. And let's go in with that Weeping Willow. I think we're going to have 2 more lines to do. I'm using 1-inch mint tape, and I'm blending these on the 3/4, so it looks like we should have 1 more to do. I have a box of old transparencies and can hook you up. Oh my goodness, that's hysterical. You can cut those to any size you like. That is true. That is true. The other thing too is I have a laminator. I could also just like laminate a piece of paper and call it like my blank stencil or something, like print it on a piece of paper, laminate it, and then like use that edge. That would be something that would work as well. I don't know. Just random thoughts. I'm a very particular stencil user. Like, there's certain stencils I won't touch because like I don't know how to say it. Like, I don't love when you can get like when there's like little designs and stencils that you can like overlay on something. Like, I want the design to be the whole 6x6 side. It's just how my mind operates with crafting. And it's like, I would rather buy a separate stencil that was like filled with the smaller design than have like part of a stencil that I have to mask off. I just don't like it. It's not like part of my process. I don't know. I don't know. We've all got our own different things. Hello, Karen. That's okay for being late. See, but this is good because normally I go live earlier and I had to postpone today to a little bit later. So I think this worked out nicely. All right, let's blend this up. Just like that. All right, and then we're gonna do, ooh, Justin. All right, let's get this nice and straight. And then one last line. 1, 2, 3. Now you're really probably gonna see the top of my head. Yep, I can see it. I can see it on the camera. Hold on, I gotta just take this text message real quickly because it's work related. Let me text. See, usually I don't have to text anybody, but here I am. And let me see. Let me turn my sound off. I'm really sorry, y'all. All right. So sorry about that. Also, the person that paged us for after hour service is not even in our service area. My goodness, they live real far away. So I'm in I'm in Woodridge, which is very close to Naperville. And the person who just paged us is from Rockford. And that is not close to where we service at all, unfortunately. Oh, it does happen. It's just, you know what? And usually I try to do really good about not sort of letting life come into the live streams, but it does happen. That's for sure. And then, of course, I forget I have the sound on my computer as well. So I'm like, oh, well, you know what, though? It did kind of let me know there was a message. I wonder, though, how someone up that far away got our number. That's interesting. All right. Anyways, just kind of go in with this Black Widow, just like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel this back, and I am going to maybe add just a little bit of light shading up here just to kind of slightly darken it. Just a little bit. Family in Naperville. Well, you know what, Quinn? I feel like I knew that when you came to the Naperville-Warrenville retreat. Maybe you told us that before. All right, perfect. I think we've got our wood slat house. That looks really pretty. Yes, I want it like this because I want it to look like, yeah, that's exactly how I want it. Yay. Okay, let me do just a wee little bit of cleanup because it's really getting inky over here. And we are going to take our towel and just a little bit of water. Where's the water? Do I not have a sprayer? Now a warning? Where's my spray bottle? It's over here. Why is it over here? All right, so we're just going to kind of get this all taken care of, cleaned up. I'm going to toss my tape because it's not going to be worth reusing. And then what we're going to do is I need to make a window. And I need to make a window because I want to have this guy kind of peeping out of it. So what we're going to do is we are going to, I've got these two dies, and we're only going to use the smaller one. And this is from a nested rectangle die set. And this is about 1 3/4 of an inch by 3 inches. So that's the measurements for this. And then we're going to kind of put this into place. We're going to say like right about there. I'm going to try my best to center it. Let's grab a little bit of tape. Oh, Kristen, I'm sure it would look this good. Don't say that. I'm sure everyone's would look wonderful. All right, so we're going to kind of line this up just like that. And I want it to be dark where it's like under what's like flaying out. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to put that on. I'm hoping this is the only die cutting I have to do during this live, but stay tuned. Me and my die cutting machine have been having not the happiest of relationships recently. It's unfortunately been fallen out of my hand a couple times. And that's okay. That's okay. We're working through it, but I think that a replacement may be on the horizon sometime soon. All right, so let's pack that up. Actually, my handle fell off of it. My poor little die cutting machine has just kind of taken a little bit of a beating the last couple weeks. All right, so we've got that window. And now I've also got this really nice piece that I could tuck away for later. And what we're gonna do is I've also die cut a frame. Here it is. I'm like, I know I die cut it. Why is it not in its place? And what I did is I used the die cut that cut, this rectangle out with that next size up one, and I die cut them together, which is a great reason why to have nested die cuts. You're able to do frames like this. And when I processed them through with this brown cardstock, it made this nice window frame. So we're gonna utilize this, and I'm going to paste it into place. Now, with window frames, I feel like a lot of homes' window frames are more on the white side. I didn't necessarily want to give this a log cabin vibe, but just kind of like a wood siding sort. I don't know what I was going for. Maybe I am going for log cabin. Maybe there's a different baddie on this set that would be better for log cabins, but we didn't do that, and that's okay. I love my Sizzix Big Shot foldaway if you're looking for a new one. You know what? I'm going to do a little bit of research. I so appreciate the insight. Part of with me is I have to get something that's easy for me to use during a live stream. And I know the Big Shots are kind of on the bigger side. I do have the Big Shot Switch, which is the electronic one, and I do love that die cutting machine. It's just really big for me to use during all of my lives. So as you can see, I have this nice little frame. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to kind of decorate the inside of the frame. So I've got some of from the Stage Builder die set. We're going to do some curtains just to kind of decorate this a little bit. And the curtains are actually what are going to have the blood splatters on them. So we're going to do a little bit of a window. Let's see, let's go in and do a little bit of ink blending first. I'm going to pull in a different ink. We're going to use Woof, which is another stellar ink. And I'm going to just kind of blend these from the edge out. And I want to grab a gray blending brush. Just like that. And so I'm just going to kind of go in. It's kind of got a little bit of brown to it, and that's okay. I don't mind that. It's kind of like a taupey color. And so I'm just going to kind of go in. The only thing is I hope that it still kind of keeps this nice and gray. Thank you so much, Kristen. It's really nice to have that frame on there because I was trying to think about like, well, what can I do to make this still have that natural sort of decorated window look? And I was like, well, a window frame, obviously. So I did that. And like I said, a lot of natural windows kind of have white frames. I went for the natural sort of brown. You could go with a black look too. I think that would work really nicely. But I went with brown. I guess I'm going for a log cabin-y vibe, which, you know what, to each their own. To each their own. And let's do just, I'm going to bring this in just a little bit more. Perfect. And then let's blend this edge. Perfect. I'm using a super light gray cardstock because I didn't want to go with like dark curtains. I wanted something on the lighter end. I think this is really kind of fitting the bill. Okay, so we've got our curtains. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe do it a little bit more. Oop, that could have been a problem. So we're gonna go in, bring that in, just like that. That one wants to stick to my fingers. Just like that. All right, so we've got that. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our blood splatter stencil, and there's a little bit of pixie spray tack on the back, and I'm gonna use that to my advantage. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna splatter blood onto these curtains because he unfortunately just went on a killing spree. I don't think that the residents of this home were overly lucky. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some red flag stellar ink. Let's grab another blending brush, grab a mini one, tap off the excess, and then just kind of go in. Just like that. It's gonna be spoopy, and I love it. Yay us. All right, so I've got layer one. Oh yes. Oh yes, that looks like a crime scene. I love it. All right, let's do a little bit of cleanup. And then I just want to make this easy to work with. And then I'm just going to kind of wipe that off easily. And then let's go in and do, oop, gotta clean that off a little bit. Now, see, my problem is this actually does look like blood. And so now I'm like, don't accidentally cut yourself while working with this sort of ink because you don't want to mess up and like be like, oh, I actually need a Band-Aid. All right, my 2 cents. Anyways, let's go in now. I don't know why that has such a dark spot right there. All right. That's weird. I don't know what happened. No, getting those clean. Yeah, I know. I know. They would be a pain in the neck to try and clean them. My goodness, I say new curtains. All right, there we go. Yay! All right, so I'm going to set that off to the side. Let me put my brushes away. Let's see, this one goes up here. This one goes back here. And we're going to just kind of peel that back, and we've got our 2 curtains ready to go. Let's do a little bit of cleanup. We're doing good on time. I think I could probably wrap this all up in the next 10 minutes is my thought. All right, let's see, let's clean this. Make sure to get all of that excess red ink off because that is going to be a pain in the butt to try and work around. All right, set that off to the side. Now let's see. I do have a piece of gray cardstock that we're going to use as a backing piece. And what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of shading, but I want to do it in a way that I don't have to overshade. So let's go in, and I'm just going to kind of mark where this needs to be shaded with a pencil to kind of give me the gist of what we need to do. So I've got the area of what needs to be shaded, and now I'm going to go in with that Black Widow ink, and let's grab my blending brush. Just do a little bit of shading, just kind of around. Oh my goodness, I really over inked this ink pad. That's okay, just being mindful, being mindful. And I don't really need to worry about anything outside of this window frame. I just kind of need to go in and blend. Go in and blend. Just want it to be a little bit darker on the inside this house. Now, if I had more time, this would be a really fun card to make as a light up, but we're not doing that. But an idea for in the future. So I'm just kind of going in like that. All right, and I know this looks really messy, but we're only gonna see like a little bit of it. So I just wanted a little bit of a highlight, and plus he is gonna be in the middle. Let me see. Just like that. Awesome. Okay, let me put this away. I think I might have gone a little overboard on the shading, but nah, we're fine. We're fine. All right. Just kind of clean this. All right, so now what I want to do is I kind of want to map out where my windows are going to, or my curtains are going to go in the window. But I do need to also put the little ties on them, which I've got as well. So we're going to do those. And see, you don't have to just use these as like a stage sort of situation. You can use them as window curtains. You know what? Now that I think about this, Lauren just did this with, I think it was the June release when she worked with Music Man, and she had him kind of outside of a window, and that worked out really nicely. So maybe I was subconsciously inspired by Lauren for this. All right, let's see. How does this go? We're gonna go like that. I think, you know what? If that's not right, it works for me. It's not right. You know what? I lied. It's not good for me. I'll do it like that. That's what I'm going to choose to do. If it does not work, it does not work. Just like that. It's a good die cut, Amy. It really is. This is an oldie but a goodie. It came out with our Showtime set. I really like it. All right, so we're going to sort of do a little bit of liquid adhesive. Just going to kind of line this up like that so that we can see the curtains nicely. I'm just going to sort of measure this all out the best I can. And then this one is going to kind of complement it, but on the other side. Just like that. Wonderful. I think that's going to be pretty close to 50-50, but we're using liquid adhesive, so it should be kind of close. It looks pretty good. This might need to go up just a little bit. You don't do spooky? That's okay. All right, so then we're gonna do, our guy is gonna go right in the middle, like this. And so I need to do him kind of anchored, but then also we'll do some liquid adhesive behind his head. And then we're going to kind of tuck him in to our window, like that. Perfect. And then he's gonna go behind this. Oh, this would be a really fun light up card. But what we need to do is use a little bit of foam tape. And I've got some 1-inch foam tape that is only 1 millimeter in depth because I didn't want this card to be super thick. So we're gonna play with this today. I think it would be a really just fun idea for this card. Just to add a little bit of depth, but not make it too ridiculous. Gremlins ruined me as a child. Oh my goodness, that's hysterical. Of all the horror movies too, I don't even consider that a horror fandom. The spookier the better. I agree, Karen. I love the spooky. Bring it on. All right, so we're gonna just kind of add some foam tape. And this is also a black foam tape, which I don't often like to use, but I thought with the nature of what we were doing with this card, it would work really nicely. So here we are using black foam tape. All right, let me see. I'm gonna cut this into a strip. Then we're going to, let's see, let's do that, and let's do that, and then just kind of keep cutting. Halloween's your favorite. Me too, Karen. I love Halloween. Love, love, love it. Though I'm a little disappointed. I accidentally have travel plans for 2 years in a row on Halloween. I'm like, oh no. I like to be home for Halloween, especially because we have one of those Ring doorbells, and I hate to see the kids like ring it for trick-or-treating, and then it's like, no, 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 we're not home. We're not home. So, all right. So I've got that. Let's remove our backing. Good, we can't see any of it. Oh, but wait a minute. Am I able to do little itty bitty pieces for the knife and for the arm? Maybe. Stay tuned. I don't use thick foam tape like this almost ever. So I'm just trying to see what I can do with it. Just like that. And then one more piece. Perfect. All right, so we're going to remove our backing. Oh goodness, we need something with an edge. All right, keep going, Justin. All right, now you guys get to bear with me as I remove backing tape, which is not a very fun part of crafting, but here we're at. All right, so we're just going to kind of keep going. I think my wish of like, oh, I could finish this up in 10 minutes. We still have a sentiment to do, my goodness. But hey, we're almost there. We are almost there, friends. The sentiment's going to be quick and easy. Just a little bit of heat embossing and a little bit of die cutting. All right, so let's go in, add some liquid adhesive to give me a little bit of extra wiggle room, or wiggle time rather. Oh, that one might need to be a little less. That's okay. All right, let's kind of tap that off, throw this out. We're getting there. We are getting there. All right, so then what we're gonna do is realistically what I should do, because I've seen people talk about this before, is I should take something with the flat edge, like my Misty, and then I should put my panel in there like this, and then I should use the edge of the Misty to put my panel into place. You know, that kind of worked pretty perfectly, so I can't knock that. And I've got just a little bit of depth. Yo, this is really cute. I'm very happy with this. Okay, so we've got that. Let me put my Misty back in place, just like that. All right. Oh, I need this. I need this. I forgot I needed this. Okay. Sentiment. Let's do it. I'm going to do it on black cardstock because we have not used a lot of black today. And I'm thinking for our sentiment, we're going to do some heat embossing, and we are just going to do Stab Your It. I think it's hysterical for this card. So I am going to grab this and put this on here, just like that. Get it into position, and I know I'm not perfectly on camera, but that's okay. I'm gonna close this, pick it up, use my anti-static embossing tool, which is my go-to anytime I do any sort of a heat embossing. And then let's see, kind of just rub it a little bit, just to kind of condition it. Using my Kindred Stamps Embossing Ink Pad. I will mention I was getting everything ready for today's live, which meant getting my links ready. And I noticed that this embossing ink is marked down to $1.99. So I'm not necessarily saying you need to go buy it right now, but I'm saying if you're in need of an embossing ink pad at any point in the next near future, it's really easy to just throw this onto your next order, because for that price point, that's pretty great. Yes, that looks good. For a second, I didn't think it was that great of an impression, but now that I look at it straight on, I'm pretty happy with it. All right, let's take this piece of cardstock. We'll tap off the excess. And then let's put this back into my jar. I'm going to also do a very quick wipe down of my Misty because I had a little bit of an accident the other day that I don't even know what happened, but I ended up with white embossing powder everywhere. And literally all I did was just take a cap off. And I'm like, how did this happen? So anyways, be mindful with your white embossing powder. All right. Put my stab sentiment back. And then we're going to put away our Misty. Grab our heat tool and emboss. We'll do it from the back side. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to the Kindred Stamps YouTube channel. It'll help you see when future lives are coming up. But in addition, if you also wouldn't mind liking this, it helps your friends see it if they haven't seen the live video yet. So that's always super helpful. It's pretty suspicious that all my purchases are dated after Justin's lives. Off to buy embossing ink. Karen, you know what? For $1.99, I will happily enable somebody because you can't find that sort of a price on almost any sort of an ink pad. And the Kindred Stamps ink embossing ink pads are super great quality. I actually thought about placing an order the other day. This is going to sound ridiculous because, like, obviously I have lots of Kindred Stamp product. I have a lot of Kindred Stamps product. Oh my God. But I just wanted to get some craft towels and some ink pads. And I'm like, do I just do it? Do I just place an order? Is Audra going to be like, what is this? Never know. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and wipe this off. Ooh, nice and crisp. And then I am going to use, I've got some extra large sentiment strip dies that I'm gonna use to cut this out. I think it's gonna be this size. Yes, perfect. And then we're also going to use some of that foam tape behind the sentiment as well, just to make it pop nicely. I don't think I'm going to do any embellishments on this card. I think we've done enough. I don't know. We'll see. I guess I shouldn't knock it until I actually get to the end of the card and make a judgment call. But stay tuned. Please don't pull off my embossing ink. You did such a wonderful job. See what we got. You're right, Karen. You really can't be at $1.99. That's also like, I don't even know if I consider that enabling. That's just like good shopping practice. All right, so we've got this. Let's make sure no crafting problems. I did make a cardinal mistake of putting my tape directly over my sentiment, and I think we're good. We are in business. Okay. Let's see. Put my die set back. These are from another company. I can let you know, Karen. I can add them to my blog posts later. They're a great die set to have on hand. I like that they fit extra large sentiments, so I can add that in later for you. I don't think I added it to the product description. All right, so let's go in and add our sentiment strip. I'm just going to, oh shucks, I need a little bit more. We'll do a bigger piece. All right. All right, let's see if this fits. Trying to cut it to size the best I can. All right, so stab your it. Let's try and get this nice and centered. You know, this is pretty cute, y'all. I'm very happy with how this turned out. Didn't really know what would happen. I know because we kind of went a little off the cuff. This wasn't what I had in mind originally, but I really like how it turned out. All right, is that centered? I want to say yes, but I don't know if I'm just getting lazy. So let's see. Okay. There we go. Let's put a little bit of liquid glue on the back of it. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's see. Yeah, chunky ones are definitely nice, Karen. And I'm so sorry. I know I'm getting like quiet. Perfect. Okay. I think that's good. I think I just need to do a little bit of cleanup right here. Just like that. And then let's go ahead and add this to a card base that I've prepared before I got onto camera. This is so cute. Oh my goodness. You know what, guys? Maybe for doing this a little bit later, it kind of just did my creative juices some good because I came up with this idea on my drive home. It was not what I was originally going with. A scene card was not on the docket today. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I think we could do it. I think we could do it without too many dies. And look, we did it. This is really cute. Oh my goodness. And it's like he's looking out a window and like, I don't want to see this ever in my life, but it's cute as heck. In real life, I don't want to see this. Oh my goodness. But look at this. Okay, so we are all completed with today's live stream. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to fix my card base a little bit, but that's okay. That stuff happens. Oh, I'm able to reposition it now. See, I say that was now I'm done, and now I'm like, my card base could use a little bit of love. Let's see. There we go. Trying my best not to get that residual adhesive on. Just add some pressure. This really turned out cute. Oh my goodness. I love how this happened. And we didn't use too many products. I know we used some inks, but like we used the horror stamp set. I think a good rectangle nesting die is key for this to make that window. But like, that's something that I think most of us should have on hand or could work with. So I just love how this turned out. I think it's super fun. excuse me, I think that the way that we colored this guy up is pretty true to form. I love those blood splatter curtains. I think it tells part of the story, which is really important, I think, when we make scene cards. And you guys are so sweet. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys all so much. Let's go ahead. Let's go back to my face. There we go. And we are all done. Didn't this turn out, excuse me, cute? Now I got the hiccups. Oh my goodness. I think this turned out really, really fun. And it has just the right amount of depth to it. You can kind of see when I tilt it that there's a little bit of shadow work going on that I think helps a card that you're going to like really create a scene like this. It kind of is a little cumbersome to use super thick foam tape, and it's also really hard to mail. Something like this could really easily get dropped into an envelope and you'd have no problems in trying to send it off to a friend. So I think that's a really great thing to keep in mind with different card forms and like what different adhesives that you're using. Kristen, this would be such a good shaker card if you had like sparkly red embellishments. I know that I think about it, I might have sparkly red embellishments that I'm thinking about. Or if you had like really anything or little cutouts of like clay slices of this guy's face. I think there are a lot of fun ideas. And plus, when a card has a window, it's kind of begging to be a shaker card. Like it's the most obvious, amazing thing to do with it. But I also think this would be really fun if we put some easy lights in there and made it light up. Like if we pressed the sentiment down and it made lights go in. I don't know, just fun ideas. Things that you could do. I'd love to see what you guys could do with it. So maybe you'll come up with even some more fun and creative ideas than what we did today. This does wrap up my June live schedule, but I think this is the only live I did with you guys this month. We did a live with the design team that I did earlier in the month, but different scenario. We're having some talking about just some design team items. But anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope everybody has a wonderful upcoming holiday weekend. If you're from the United States, of course, we have Independence Day coming up, our 250th birthday. So wishing everyone a happy and safe 4th of July. In addition, I will be back next month with more live streams. The calendar for July is probably not going to post tomorrow. Probably Thursday is my guess at the latest on the 3rd on Friday. But we will get it up there and we will have some crafty fun. We've got another amazing release coming in July. Some really fun sets coming up that I think a lot of people are going to love. I know I say that all the time, but I know specifically with this one, with how I saw the design team react, I know that there's going to be some fun with it. So keep on the lookout for that. And then also too, we talked a little bit about Schaumburg. Make sure that if you guys are going to be there, and especially if you're going to be at the expo on Saturday, come say hi. And then I will be at the Crop Retreat Playdate on Sunday the 9th. I hope to see you there. We'd have a really fun time. Audra also always has some fun opportunities. There's some in-person shopping. I'm sure she'll bring back some raffles because she raffles off some really cool stuff. And then don't forget, we've got that Spot On class kit that's currently a limited edition kit for sale. It comes with that 4x4 Spot On stamp set along with the 2-piece layering spots stencil. And you also get my class video. It's not too long of a class video. You kind of wrap everything up in less than 2 hours. And it's got some really amazing techniques. So if you've been on the fence, make sure to snag it before it sells out and you don't have the availability to purchase it as a kit. I don't know if it's going to be restocked regularly or what. Usually when Audra does limited items, once they go out of stock, they're out of stock for quite some time. But yeah, make sure to snag it. I've got all of the products used today linked in the description below, also linked in the chat. So make sure to go and grab that. And I will go ahead and sign off. Thank you all so much once again for tuning in late to be with me today. And I can't wait to craft again with you soon next month. All right. Goodbye, everyone.